Hi, I'm Dennis Phillips, and welcome to Everyday Reloading and Shooting. All right, in the ongoing saga of chasing a load for the H335 powder, I'm going to be doing a ladder test, and I will be shooting loads from 21.3 to 23.8 grains of powder with a 68 grain boat tail hollow point Hornady bullet. So we're going to send these down to 100 yards. We'll be shooting 10 5-shot groups. We'll be having 2 and 3 tenths of a grain steps between each charge weight. And so we're going to see if we can find a load here. If there's a load in there somewhere, this ought to show it. All right, so let's send them down. Shooting at 100 yards. As always, you're welcome to enjoy the music while I fast forward through my shooting, or you can skip forward to the results at the end. All right. All right, let's bring them in and take a look. I got to tell you, I'm pretty disappointed in these Winchester 41 primers. I had 6 failures to fire, and I had probably about 4 others that I had to lift the bolt and close it and pull the trigger a second or a third time in order to get it to fire. So that's about 10 primers that failed, because had it been in a hunting situation, I might not have been able to get a second shot. Or a competition, I might not have been able to get a second shot. But here's a look at those failures to fire. Winchester 41 primers. Okay, so there's the barrel warming group. Those all grouped pretty good. That was a different load altogether. But here, we've got a pretty tight group there, but there's only 4 shots there. There's only 4 shots here, but we're really tight right there on the bullseye. Pretty tight here, a little loose here. Only 4 shots there. We got 5 here, that's fairly tight. That's probably right at an inch, maybe just over. Here, we only have a 3-shot group because we had 2 failures to fire on this one. Here we've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-shot group, but they're starting to get scattered. And then at the higher charge weight, look at these. These really get scattered here at those higher charge weights. So for the H335 powder and a 68 grain bullet, I'm going to have to say that it prefers the lighter charge weights. But before I try these again, I'm going to load something other than a Winchester 41 primer, that's for sure. And I will be calling Winchester very soon to let them know what's going on. All right, those are my results. We'll take them home and measure them and see how they compare. Today was kind of a mixed bag at the range. I thought if I'm going to find a load that works with the H335 powder and the 68 grain boat tail hollow point bullet, I might be able to do that by running a ladder test with charges between the minimum and the maximum load for that powder. So the minimum load for 335 and the 68 boat tail hollow point is 21.3 grains. The maximum charge weight is 23.8. One of the problems I had today was I had 10 failures to fire. I had 6 rounds that didn't go off at all. And on those, I cycled the bolt probably 3 times. And after they didn't fire at all, I reloaded them back into the magazine and tried again. There were another 4 rounds that didn't fire, and then I cycled the bolt, pulled the trigger again, and they did fire. But they didn't fire the first time the trigger was pulled. I had groups that ranged from 1.3 to 0.94, 103, 0.48, 121, 99, 98, 80. And then towards the end, as we got towards the higher charge weights, they really started spreading out. These rounds really don't like that higher charge weight. So at 23.5, it was 2.17, and then at 23.8, it was 4.1. And you see this flyer here, how spread out that group is. And when I was shooting these, also another thing is when I got to my 5th target here, I accidentally pulled my magazine that had 22.7 grains in it, and I should have been shooting that here, but instead I shot the 22.7 grains here, and I shot the 22.4 grains here. So overall, I had 5 out of 10 groups that were an inch or under, and I had 3 out of 10 groups where the best 4 out of 5 was a ½ inch or less. And it looks like right here between 21.6 and 22.1 is the sweet spot. Now, granted, I had 2 groups where I had a failure to fire, but I had groups of 0.94, 103, and 0.48. Now, even though I was missing one here, that's still a 4-shot group, and those were shooting really tight right there at 42 inches for the best 3 out of 4. And over here, even though the group was 103, now I know when I fired this shot, I remember that that was a bad trigger pull right there, and I knew that would be off, and it was. The strange thing, though, is that these all seem to be grouping kind of high and to the left, high and left, high and left. And this one, the flyer, was high and to the left, and the others were right on the point of aim, which was at the bottom of that black circle. So it looks like maybe those 3 are the flyers, and that was where they were supposed to be going. But in any event, those 3 grouped pretty well in the middle from 21.6 to 22.1. So we had a failure to fire here, here, and here. We had a failure to fire here, and we had 2 failures to fire here. So it's kind of hard to judge the credibility of a group when you've only got 3 shots. Now, I know a lot of guys will shoot 3-shot groups, and they'll judge based on a 3-shot group. I found that if I shoot 2, 3, and 5-shot groups, the 5-shot groups are always going to be larger. So, but you do get a better idea of consistency, I think, if you're shooting a 5-shot group versus a 2 or 3-shot group. This would be where I would want to develop that load right here. Maybe start even at 26.7 and go 26.7, 0.8, 0.9, 22, and 22.1 and see if I can reproduce this. I mean, that's a really tight group. And the next one after that should have been this group at 22.4. And you see that's a 0.99 group. So with the best 4 out of 5 at 0.86. So they were starting to get larger. So it goes from 94, 103, and that's because of a flyer here, to 48, and then to 99, then 121, then back to 98, 80, than 217 and 410. So I may try to develop this a little bit right here. It seems strange to me that at 21.6 I got a group of 0.94, because I shot this group of 5 targets with 21.6 grains, the same load that I had here, and I had groups of 175, 130, 136, 105, and 544. You see this flyer over here? I have no idea what that was all about. So anyway, don't know that I trust the 21.6, but we may start just above that and go 21.7, 0.8, 0.9, 22, 22.1. So we'll give that a try and see if that works. So if you have any thoughts or ideas, please leave those in the comments below. I always try to interact with everybody that leaves a comment, and I appreciate you watching, and I will see you next time. Thanks again.